Hi, everyone, and good evening, and welcome to tonight's episode of TeacherGoals Tech Talk Live, this season of featuring powerful women in edtech and education. My name is Alaina Clark. I'm here with my co-host, Heather Brown, to the, I don't know how your vision, but this side, this way of me. I'm doing pointing. And then we have our amazing guest tonight, such an amazingly wonderful, sweet woman, Laurie Guyon tonight joining us. Thank you so much for being here tonight.
I am so excited to be here with you too. It's so good to see your smiling faces.
Thank you. We are excited to be here, of course. And anyone that's joining us, if you guys can, if you're turning in, let us know where you're joining us from, what you do in education. And then throughout the conversation, if you do have any questions that come up, feel free to share them in the chat, and we will try to get to them and answer them for you guys. So to get started tonight, can you let our audience know just a little bit about you, what you do in education, and all the amazing things you do?
Sure. Yeah. So my day job, I am the lead coordinator for Instructional Technology Programs at WSWHE BOCES. That's in upstate New York, just around Saratoga Springs, for those that know the area. My role is one where I support 31 school districts with anything to do with educational technology. So that could be professional learning on a new tech tool. It could be modeling a lesson in the classroom. We have a STEAM bus, so we do a lot of computer science and STEAM kind of activities on the bus. That's kind of the day stuff. And then, after hours, I guess if you will get it that way, I'm an author. I have 3 books out now. I have a 4th with the editor right now that I co-wrote. Yeah, there's Architect. I see that one I co-wrote.
She's got a nice bookshelf, so she can just like pull
right
things
behind her, right?
Yeah.
My other one's at school. My Smile Learning one must be at school because I don't see that one.
Yep. I know. That happens, I have the Smile Learning, and then Put the Pickles in the Dishwasher is my children's book. The next one coming out is called Access First, because you never know who you're helping. So it's all about accessibility for every student in the classroom. I co-wrote that one with Jennifer Harrington Wilson. She's in another BOCES just south of me. And I'm also a podcaster as well. I co-host a podcast with Matthew Joseph, who happens to also be my publisher. So I get to spend a lot of time with Matt, and it's all good.
Awesome. And I know this is one thing that I saw when you filled out the form, and you already mentioned it, but to get started, I'm dying to hear about the STEAM bus.
Oh, yes. That's always the question.
When I read that, I was like, I wanted to talk about that.
Yeah, because it's hard to conceptualize if you haven't seen one. So we have 2 in our region. The first one was one of the districts that I happen to be embedded in twice a week. They have had a STEAM bus since 2020. They actually had their tech teacher and their computer technology teacher that actually built the bus and did all the construction. And our BOCES was like, hey, we could do that too, right? So we actually got our career and technical education students to build the bus. So we took a retired school bus, gutted it, and then they rebuilt the whole inside. So the carpentry, all the electric work, the HVAC systems, everything was done by students, which is pretty amazing. Yeah, they built these adorable booths so we can have students at different stations on the bus. We wanted it to be fully accessible, so it has the wheelchair lift so we can make sure that every student has the opportunity to come on the bus. What we do on it, though, is we go out to our 31 school districts and we bring lots of things. So high-end, high-tech stuff like a Z-Space or a VR kit, merge cubes, that sort of thing. And then some very low-tech kind of things, so some manipulatives, some robotics, and then we have a lot of no-tech, because the idea is we want the students to do that hands-on exploration. A lot of times the districts just want us to do whatever, like just, we just want our students to explore and see it, right? Yeah. Other times it's more focused. So we've done science days, we've done cybersecurity takeover days, digital citizenship carnivals, whatever the district wants, we kind of cater to that need. Our goal is to really help build that trajectory for the students to see all of the opportunities in career and technical education. So we want them to be able to see themselves in the careers that we really need students to think about going into. So yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of work. You're on it in really hot weather and you're on it in really cold weather. Upstate New York, you could have both in the same day. So
that's Illinois right now.
Right? Exactly. We only use it in the fall and in the spring. So over the winter, it doesn't really go out because it's just too cold. But yeah, it's about to come out. It comes out the end of this month for the first time for the spring. And I think we have about 27 to 30 days on it between now and the end of the school year.
Wow. So on this bus, is it like for pre-K through high school, or what do you guys have it set up for?
Yeah, so we focus more on the 3rd through 6th grade, 3rd through 8th, depending on what we can get. But we do have a lot for the littles too. So we're always excited. When they're like, "Can you do this with our kindergartners?" Yes, we absolutely can. We can do that. One of the fun kind of activities we had last year, we had the bus there for 3rd through 5th grade, but they had a fire, like a real fire in their school. Very fire.
Oh no!
It was which is ironic, but it was a fire sensor in the boys' bathroom that caught fire. So it put itself out pretty quick. There was, obviously you have to wait to make sure everything is safe. And it happened to be a really cold day, and their UPK students happened to be right outside the bus. So we loaded them all onto the bus to keep them warm. And then we started playing activities with them, and they were like, "Do we have to leave? Like, this is so fun," right? So we did very low tech stuff with them. We did like Pictureka. I don't know if you know that game. It's like a Where's Waldo kind of game. We had some Vex 1-2-3s. We have some indie robots. So we had some different things for them to do, but everything should be hands-on and exploratory for sure.
Yeah, and you said, when are you starting that back up? Your first day?
March 31st. So that it'll be back out. Yes, very soon. Those will be chillier days, but by the afternoon it's fairly warm. So we dress in layers. It'll be good.
That's true. I mean, I would just say in Illinois and Indiana, it's like too, you have the heat on in the morning, then the AC on in the day, and then maybe the heat on at the end of the night again.
We currently 100%. Have snow outside, but it got in the 70s today. So yeah I feel you.
Yeah, exactly. It's totally the same. Yeah, for sure.
Can you tell me a little bit more? I heard you say a cybersecurity day.
Oh, yeah.
Can you tell me more about that? That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah. So in New York State, we have computer science and digital fluency standards. I was fortunate enough to be on the authoring committee for those, and they were adopted fully in 2020. And they are K-12. And we're one of the few states actually in the nation that have cybersecurity standards for the littles. It's more middle school, high school. Yeah. But we know that it's important that the minute we allow students to touch technology, that they know the right ways to do it. So we go in and we push into every grade level and do lessons around cybersecurity. But when they hit 6th grade, especially in one of our districts, we would go in and we would do, we use the Sphero Bolts. They have cybersecurity lessons that were created by a professor of cybersecurity at a college here in New York. So we use a lot of her lessons. And we would teach the students all the different things through those lessons. And then we kind of challenge them. It's like their assessment day. We bring them out on the bus and they have to it's not a breakout in the way that they don't have to like do different things to break out, but they go through each of the centers and they kind of practice those skills. So we do password safety. We do this one lesson that they learn 10 different ways to protect themselves from cyberbullying, which I think everybody should be teaching. We take them through like, what is kindness online, how to be a good citizen. We do Lego activities where they build like a Lego superhero and they have to create a video to say how that superhero is saving something from the internet. So most of them, it's a bad password, it explodes, right? That's what kids like, explosion. So they'll explain all of that process. And we just kind of teach them how to be a human in this digital space. But by the end of it, they really have a really good sense of what cybersecurity is. They really enjoy. We take giant Jenga off the bus because they fall a lot, right? Put them on a table, and we numbered all of the Jenga pieces, and there's 54 pieces if you ever want to know, in a standard Jenga set. And so we came up with 54 different questions. AI helped. And we asked them the question based on the number of the block they pull out. But if they get it right, the other team has to do something kind to them. And if they get it wrong, they have to do something kind to the other one. So there's always an action that they have to do. And sometimes it was just like, give yourself a hug or give a high five. Sometimes they're sillier, but it's still building that community as they're going through the different stations. So yeah, it's so fun. I highly recommend cybersecurity takeover days.
That's awesome. So we had a comment here. It said, cyber safety for young children matters more than ever, especially as tech becomes part of everyday childhood. As an elementary school teacher here in Massachusetts, I see how important the work is. You're doing something that truly makes a difference by bringing it into real hands-on practice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all about that real world experience, right? That's always the question teachers ask. When I do a lot of PD, and it's student engagement. That's something that everybody's struggling with in different ways. And I always say, if the students see themselves in what they're doing, if they have that relation, right, it's universal design for learning right there. They understand it. They have the foundational knowledge to be able to understand what's happening. You're not going to worry about student engagement. They're going to be all in because they want to do the activity. So it's very rare that I get a student who doesn't want to talk about what they do online, right? They want to share that. But it's also helping them understand how to be safe. And I will tell you, I've been teaching digital citizenship since 2013, when we first went one-to-one with iPads in my 6th grade class. And I will tell you that kids have gotten so much more savvy and much better critical thinkers over the years. They just get it much better than they did when we were first figuring it out. But we have to keep fostering those conversations. And I think that school has to be a place that we can show, where the guardrails should be and what to protect yourself from.
Right. Because a lot of these students don't have that at home. Many
Right.
of them are using the iPad as a babysitter. They don't get the extra security part. So it's always nice to be able to help them when they come to school and help show them how to protect themselves.
Yeah. And we have to tell our parents too. They need that support as well, because we didn't grow up with the technology as much as our students have. So I do parent nights where we talk about cyber safety, a lot around digital citizenship, what to think about as far as social media goes, how to put those controls on, and how to have those conversations, right? You have to set boundaries with your children on everything, right? You know that. But it's also a matter of offering them the opportunity to kind of figure things out on their own too. So it's that fine line, that balance. But we have to give our children the opportunity to kind of learn, with us. And I think that, the parents that take the time and come to these sessions, I know that they walk away with something, that they're like, okay, I can do this. And I always say to parents, start with a basic contract, like make rules on what you can and can't do with technology. The Pediatrics Association has a great contract that you can just print and use. You don't have to make your own. Common Sense has one where you can kind of decide, we're not going to have, cell phones at the kitchen table, or we're not going to, have the cell phones in our room, and make that a rule for everybody in the household. And those can really start those skills early, so students understand that balance.
I love how you touch on, and that you do parent trainings and touch on that, because it is so true that, like, my own, when I'm helping my mom with something on her cell phone that she doesn't understand, versus me now in my generation, which I consider myself pretty tech savvy, but then now my 13-year-old, there's things that he can already do that I can't do and don't understand.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah. You ever see a 2-year-old literally pinch and swipe to
Yes.
make things larger and smaller?
Yes.
And then you'll see them try to do it in an actual paper book because they expect everything to do that, right? The kids get it very quickly because they've been born with it. They don't know life without it, but that doesn't mean they know how to use it, in the best way, right? They may have an idea on how it works for them, but they're not thinking of what's not safe on here, and what do I need to do to make sure that I'm, absolutely doing the right things. And they don't always know what the right things are. And sometimes parents don't either, right? We're all kind of learning. And you're right. Also teaching our grandparents. I was fortunate enough, it's been a few years since this district did it, but I thought it was a great idea. They actually brought seniors from the senior centers to the high school, and they had high schoolers there that were teaching and training the seniors how to use Facebook, right? How to put those securities on, what's okay to load, how to, make sure your pictures are safe. All of the things that we've been teaching to students, they were now teaching to other seniors. And it was so fun watching them sit with somebody trying to get the photos from Facebook onto their cell phone because they wanted to keep the pictures and learn it. So yeah, we all have to learn. Like we want to be lifelong learners. So why not bring it to everybody?
Yeah. I love that community engagement. It's so just heartwarming to be able to bring the community into the school, or to push out the school into the community to show everything that the students can do too. I really love highlighting the students like that.
Absolutely. Why not? But they want to share. They're the ones that consider themselves the experts, right? It was interesting. I was with freshmen a few weeks back, and we were doing digital branding, like how you should brand yourself online, right? So still talking about social media, what you should and shouldn't do, but it was more of the shoulds versus the should nots, because that's, much more, the students would be much more receptive to that. But what shocked me was every time I showed them a little video clip, they immediately assumed it was AI. And I was like, they're not. Like, I checked, like I triple checked. These are real videos. And they're like, no, it's not. And I'm like, all right, you have a computer in front of you. Find out. Let's do that critical thinking together. But they were so fun. And their favorite game to play, which I highly recommend anything that Common Sense puts out. But Common Sense has a new game called Two Truths and AI. And it shows, right? Yeah, it's kind of fun, right? And it has movie posters, and you have to decide, you have to pick the one that's AI generated. So they're on real movies, like they'll have like King Kong and Inside Out and all those, but you have to find the one that's not real. And they really enjoyed that game. So I played a lot with students now, because if freshmen like it, I figure others will really like it too.
Yeah.
There's one, I can't think of the website now, but there's one website where it has an AI generated picture and then a real picture, and then you have to decide which is which. And I love doing that with students, because all of a sudden they are like super analyzing everything. You're like, oh, but there's no reflection in their glasses, or ooh, the lights in the background aren't even, or things like that. And it's just things I never would have thought about. They are noticing, and it's amazing that they're already thinking that critically about AI.
Yeah, they really are. That's Which Face is Real is the website.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. That's what I was talking about.
Yeah, I was with 7th and 8th graders yesterday. It was their world languages class. World Water Day is coming up March 22nd, I believe. And so they, this group of students, or this teacher really, every year she teaches the students about the UN Sustainable Development Goals. And they always celebrate World Water Day by learning about the plight of water, right? 2.2 billion people don't have access to clean water in our world. And what they do is they do this awareness campaign. So they were using AI to create infographics about water. And it was so fun. We were using Gemini, and they were able to create the images, but then there was words that were wrong, or information that wasn't quite right based on the research that they did. So we would bring it into Canva and we'd fix it up. But it was really neat to see the critical thinking skills that they were thinking about as they were going through, to make sure that their information that they were doing was accurate. And what they do is they're putting all them together, and they're creating this campaign, and then they'll do fundraising. They actually grow plants and then sell the plants in their class. Last year I didn't know this existed, but they were pear tomatoes. So they were yellow and shaped like
those are so good.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, I'd never heard of them before. You know them?
Yes, I grew
up. So I bought some last year, but they raise money, and what they do is they buy biosand filters, which they cost about $100. So it's not like it's a terribly expensive product, but it gives clean water and sanitary water for over 100 years. So they ship those down to they have a village that, like a sister school in Honduras. It's a small village called Trojes. They send them down, and they've been putting them in their schools, and they've been putting them in people's homes so they can have clean water in their village. So, they do it with purpose. And I think that, again, you want student engagement, you're doing activities like that, students totally are getting why it's important. And it's shocking to them to think, like, one boy is like, I always let the shower run for half an hour before I even get in it. And I'm like, well, think about that person in Honduras that has to walk 2 miles every day to get contaminated water. And you just wasted so much. So, hopefully it changes some of their, ways that they're conserving water going forward.
So we've talked a little bit about engagement, and I just wanted to hear, like, what are some other exciting things you're seeing right now in your schools involving student engagement?
Yeah, I don't know if in your states that you've seen a shift in graduation requirements around Portrait of a Graduate. New York, New York likes to change things a lot. Like
Indiana changed their diplomas.
Yes, exactly.
The different ones that they have, and they're going to effect, I think, within the next year or two.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So I'm right there with you. Yeah, that's the big change for us. So Portrait of a Graduate has 6 areas that they want for a student to be well-rounded. And then they've added in financial literacy and climate literacy, I guess would be literacy. So they've added some different seals. They've always had other ones, like there's the seal of civic readiness and there's one for world languages. But the concept now is that in New York State, we've always had to have all of our students take these exams at the end of the year. They were called Regents exams, but not every student is good at taking tests, right? Or doesn't really always showcase them in their best light. So they're going to have different pathways now. So now students could do a project-based pathway. They could do the Regents still if they want. And there's a career pathway. So you have that student that maybe really struggles in chemistry and wouldn't be able to pass the Regents, but knows everything about building an engine in a car, right? Yep. And we want to make sure that student still can graduate. Just because they couldn't pass one exam, it doesn't show all the skills that student has. So that's been the exciting thing, is watching that shift of how we're doing classroom instruction. A lot more of that project-based, design thinking, inquiry-based, which is definitely how I always ran my class. We did everything hands-on, as often as we could. I feel like I think it was Lisa Highfill might have said this first. Maybe there was someone else, but she always talks about sticky learning. And I always feel like the more senses that you have involved, the more sticky that learning is going to be, right? So we want those students on the floor doing different activities, really thinking about, letting themselves see themselves in the work, like we said, but also having fun doing it, right? So there's no reason you can't play a game. There's no reason you can't have a challenge. There's no reason you can't do a fun project that, can get the students to be trying things out. And that's really what we're seeing this big shift in what's happening. For a while it was flexible seating, but now we're actually using the flexible seating in a better way. We're starting to see that full circle. And, I know there's this big push to take tech out of our classrooms, but if it's used the right way, there's no reason to take it out. It's not the thing, it's a thing, but it's not, the learning isn't about the looking at a screen. Maybe we don't need to have 7 different math, data points, over 7 different programs. Maybe we use it for one, but we're going to do this hands-on with Lego to be able to count, or to do something, with understanding what AI is and how it works.
Yeah. And I love how you kind of did touch on the fact that there is being this, I feel like it just really turned quickly, this big push on getting some tech out of classrooms.
Yes.
Yeah. And I feel like it maybe been out of touch a little bit, but I feel like it happened quick.
No, I'm with you. I think I think it's a lot of the books that are out now, right? There's the Anxious Generation, right? That made a lot of people nervous. There's a new one out about, I can't think of the name of it, but I have another district about to do a book study on it about why we should not use it. That the studies don't show that students are improving from it, but if they're using it the right way, like I always say, go to the programs that show that are research based, right? So Digital Promise has a website of all of the research based programs that they would certify, right? ISTE has that as well. Like there's different places you can go to find the tools that are actually innovative. I hate when people say innovation. Oh, we're getting all this great data from this product. Yeah, that's great. But are the students the one doing the innovation? And if they are, then that is just another tool in their toolkit. We had the same argument over calculators, about using Google in the classroom. Yeah. I mean, I think it was Socrates who didn't want us to write things down because he thought we would forget how to hold things in our mind, right? So
and they even were worried that people wouldn't come take classes and go to lectures because they just read books instead.
Right. Yeah. So, we're just in the pendulum part of it. Mm-hmm. But, my students, I was fortunate enough to pilot a one-to-one with iPads in 2013. And we did a lot of coding. And I didn't know what coding was. I figured it out with them. Right. Yeah. We did our code that year and every year after that. And we would do different things where we're reading The Lightning Thief, but we're using the Sphero to explain the hero's journey. There's always all these layers to it. The tech is just no different than handing them a stack of index cards and a pencil. You know what I mean? It's how you use it. And I don't know that everyone's using it the right way yet. We're getting there.
Yeah, I would totally agree. It's like giving someone a calculator. It's just a tool. Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, well, we are Teacher Goals, so we do like to ask all of our guests, what is one, it can be personal, professional goal you have for this coming year?
All right. I'm gonna, I will go a little on the personal side because you guys know me very well, and I love going to conferences and all that. But I'm actually been having some back problems. I had a surgery in October, and I have another one next week. So my goal is after the second surgery that I can be healthy. I want to be in good shape. So when we hit ISTE and all of the other conferences coming up, that I'm good to go, and I'm pain-free and I'm in good physical shape. So my goal is health for me, for the rest of this year and then beyond, for sure.
Yeah. Well, that's an amazing goal. Yes.
I personally just want to get rid of this cold.
Yeah. I know. Well, I just got a text from my son telling me he has mono. So, we're all doing it.
I was going to say, before we started, I said to Heather, I go, I feel like this is the first time I haven't been sick for a good stretch in 2-3 months.
Oh, well.
I was like, am I jinxing myself?
Take your coldies or your Zycam or whatever.
I know. I need to go hydrate after this. Right. Well, I want to thank you so much for being with us tonight. It's always lovely talking to you and seeing you in person. And we will get to see each other this summer too.
Yeah,
for
sure.
We'll be back together.
That's right.
We will be.
We'll be going back together.
But thank you so much again for joining us, and everyone that tuned in, thank you so much. And I hope everyone has a great evening. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.